Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Got a weird couple thoughts. I saw another video, can't remember the guy's fella, named Larry, and he talked about this, and I thought, good point. I think I want to talk about it too. But it's about how my retirement came about. Not came about necessarily, but how I'm different, how my life's changed, I guess I should say, since I've retired as opposed to when I was working. I was in the very beginning, I've worked, ever since I was about 15, all the time. Even when I was in 15 in the Bay Area, I had my first job was at a Italian restaurant as a busboy, and I don't think they had a lot of laws back then, but I was working about 32 hours a week plus going to school and everything. And I've always been like that. Pretty much my life, I've always worked hard. I've enjoyed most everything I've done. If there's certain things I didn't like, I would get out of it and get into something else. But I always did work hard, and like I said, I enjoyed it. And when I got married, I was into I was into the auto parts business at a dealership. I did that for a year or two, and didn't like it, and I got out, and then for quite a while I worked for a grocery store, a big chain, and I worked there for about 5 years, and got tired of that and quit. Went on something else. But I always give it my pretty much, unless I'm really hating the job. But I always gave it my all. And then I became self-employed a little bit later on. And I had, repair shops and for quite a few years, maybe 8, 10 years, something like that, I think. And then I went to work in construction related. And then we got the restaurant, which was a lot of fun. But, a lot of hours. Yeah, we'd get up and, it was just a lot of fun. The restaurant was where you'd get up early, because it's a breakfast house. And we'd do that. And then I'd have to, go get, the loads and groceries. A lot to the restaurant business. But I was always getting up early and didn't have to work too late usually. But when I did, it was fine. But then the wife and I usually worked together a lot late, in the last 15 years, 20 years of our life when we weren't retired. And it was kind of 7 days a week at the restaurant for, I don't know, 15 years maybe. Well, more like 19, 20 years when we worked for the lady that had it before us. But anyway, it's been funny because when we decided to retire, Connie, all of a sudden one day she says we were going to go to work at the restaurant the next day, and she says I'm done. And Connie never asked her nothing. She's a real hard worker. I was very fortunate to have a gal that doesn't ask for much and just likes to work, and everybody likes her, loves her. But she says, I'm done. And we had been working the restaurant, I think, for about 19 years. We worked for the lady that had it before us for about 5 years. And then we had it for, I think, another 12 or 13, I think, something like that. And that we owned it. And I as a person that's, been married and going with my wife for, 55 years now. But then it was 50-something years, and I thought I had known her, better than anybody, which I do, but I didn't see that coming because she always seemed so happy and everything. But she said she was tired. She's always worked like me, since she was a young girl, and she says I'm done. I'm tired. And I said, okay, which is fine, but I told her we're going to have to work a little bit longer, not long, 6 months, 8, 9 months, 10 months, something like that, because we had a couple of bills we wanted to finish paying and stuff. Wanted to be at a certain point in our life when we did retire, and so she said fine. So we did. We turned the restaurant over to my daughter-in-law, and so basically it was kind of an oddball thing, because when you go from really being busy all the time, we never took a vacation. We always were, was asses and elbows, we used to say, and working and enjoying our work for the most part. And then all of a sudden, you don't have to be anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere, And I find that Connie and I had to rely on ourselves as our own companionship, which we always did anyway. We're very close. But there's, when we went to work at the restaurant, you saw friends and people and got together with and all, and now they're not there. It's just Connie and me, middle of nowhere. And it was so strange, because when we get up in the morning, we don't have to go anywhere, don't have to be anywhere. So it wasn't a hard thing for me or Connie to do. Connie just got busy with her crocheting. She's a seamstress and very good at all this stuff. She's always got, baby sweaters going, or all these different things going, and and I, and then she'd like to read books, and so she was always busy all the time. In return, I was a guy who liked a lot of outdoor stuff. I like projects and building things, and I have a skid steer and I had a backhoe, and I like doing that. And I got 55 acres. I can build a lot of roads and pads, and but that's all pretty much summertime work. Not a lot of indoor work to do, indoor projects. So, but our day would start as it usually does. We get up early, 4 or 5 in the morning. We're just used to getting up that early. So we get up and, have our coffee and catch the news, or maybe a movie or something in the morning early till it got daybreak. And then, she'd have her breakfast, and I don't eat breakfast, so she would have her breakfast and things and get to doing her housework and getting on her books or whatever. I in the meantime, didn't really, I've had a lot of issues trying to fill my time. There's only so much tractor work you can do on a property. You get caught up every once in a while. There's really not a lot to do. Connie's busy also watching the grandkids that live on the lower part of the property, the grandkids and the great grandkids and stuff. So she was always pretty busy. Like I said, I get up and I've always got 2-3 hours of stuff to do outside, something. And I do that, and maybe about 10, 11 o'clock I come in, and I'm kind of scrounging for something to do. And that's been like that now for quite a few years. This is why I like my little channel. I hope my little channel takes off. It really hasn't been doing that good lately. Not a lot of people on it. But I just started it, and I'm hoping it'll get a little bit busier so I can fill up my day a little bit with talking to people or doing something. But it remains to be seen what will happen, because that kills some time and give me something to do. So anyway, that's been our routine, and I'm, like I said, I watch a lot of TV. I'm kind of stagnant a lot, which I've never been before in my life. And then at the same time, I've got a lot of, I've had a lot of medical issues, which I'm not crying on my beer or anything. I've had 6 strokes and recovered for the most part. Not totally recovered. I've got issues left over from the last stroke I had, but I'm functioning pretty well, with it. But I've had that, and I have bone-on-bone knees, and it's hard for me to walk around a little lot. And so I've got things. It's kind of funny, because it seems to me when we're young, you never have any money, and you're always trying to, you got family to raise, and you want a occupation, whatever you're going to do, get good at it, or progress in it, or if it's a business we're doing, you got to sacrifice so much to get there, and then and prepare for retirement. So when you get to retirement, it's just the opposite. I find myself during the day trying to take care of myself, my physical issues and things like that. For the most, and it's a daily chore with me. Connie doesn't seem to have any physical ailments, so she's really lucky there, like me. But I find that I have to spend a lot of my day just getting warmed up in the morning and putting up with things that bother me a lot, and that's a big thing. So, like I said, before you retire, you're busy. Your body's pretty good. You're doing things and preparing for your future. Then when you get to the future, then you spend all the time keeping yourself well as possible, and the doctors and all these things. But that's the way I kind of looked at it. But anyway, kind of an oddball video, probably kind of boring for you, but I thought I'd say that. And if you want to comment, that'd be great. Just subscribe or something, if you want to. But I appreciate everything, guys. Thank you much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.